Hey, what up? It's Will Maker. Recently, I read Bruce Swedien's book, The Recording Method. And if you're not familiar with who Bruce Swedien is, I'm sure you've heard one of his mixes. So, with that, let's go ahead and dive in. He's responsible for Michael Jackson's Bad, Thriller, and countless of other projects during that time. One thing that really stuck with me in the book was the actual recording. Bruce didn't use much compression, if any at all, and barely touched the EQ. And when you're listening to those recordings, they sound amazing. Now, of course, they were recorded with the best mics and Bruce's infinite knowledge on which mic sounded the best on which voice. But to think there wasn't very much processing is really impressive. Bruce had already begun to mix the song before he even touched a fader. So that had me thinking, if the actual recording of the source is the most important part of the mix, where does that leave most of us? Depending on your genre, you might primarily deal with samples or tracks that are sent to you that might not be from the best sources and might not be ideal. And of course, we're all trying to capture the best recordings and use the highest quality samples that are possible, and that's a huge part. But after that, what's next in the line of importance? That's where balance comes in. Now, there is no one trick to get the perfect balance because it depends on your song and the genre, and most of all, what element is the most important part of that mix. In hip hop, for instance, your drums have to knock, your bass needs to hit, and in most cases, your vocals need to stand up front. So once I've cleaned up, properly gain staged, and organized my tracks, the next thing that I do is set my levels. I find this to be the most important part of my mix. I find in most genres that it starts with the drums, specifically the kick and the snare. I like to start with the VU meter, and what I'm looking for is I'm looking for my kick to hit at about 0, and over on my master fader, I'm looking to hit anywhere between about -6 and 10 dB. Next, I'm going to bring in my snare, and for my snare, I'm looking for it to hit about the same volume as my kick. And then for this track in particular, because it's more of a hip hop based track, I'm doing my drums first. I'm going to do my 808, and then I'm going to bring in some vocals and then the instruments right after. So now I'll go ahead and I'll bring in my 808 and I'm going to put it slightly underneath my kick. Now, I usually start at the most dynamic part of the song, which in this case is going to be the hook. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to bring in the hook. And I want my vocal to sit just a tad bit in front of my snare and my kick. Find a way. Find a way. Gotta find a way. Find a way. It's my life. Find a way. Now I'm going to go ahead and bring in the instruments. Find a way. Find a way. Gotta find a way. Find a way. So a lot of the times you may want to hear your instruments be at the same volume because you think that you want them to be heard. Well, these need to actually sit underneath the vocal. That way you have space. You can't have everything at the same volume and think that it's going to be heard. But now I'm going to go ahead and tuck it underneath the vocal. Find a way. Find a way. Gotta find a way. And also at this time, if you have any panning that you want to do, that's also a good idea. Now I'm going to go ahead and bring in another one of the instruments. Find a way. Find a way. Gotta find a way. Find a way. It's my life. And now I'm going to start bringing in the rest of the drums. Find a way. Find a way. Gotta find a way. Find a way. It's my life. Find a way. Find a way. Gotta find a way. Most of my remaining drums are going to be louder than my instruments. And remember, this is all about what you want to be in the forefront of the mix. So in this part of the hook, I want the hook to pop. So I want to go ahead and make sure that the vocals pop. Find a way. Find a way. Gotta find a way. Find a way. It's my life. Find a way. So the important part of the balance to me is finding what you want to be in the forefront in that part of the arrangement. So whether it's vocals, if it was a solo of an instrument, if it's your drums that you want to have the biggest part of the section, it's finding that thing that you want to highlight in the song. So now it's all about picking and choosing those instruments or vocals that you want to highlight throughout your arrangement to help build the song. Once I have the balance to my liking, now I'll start to add processing to my tracks. Finding the right balance is crucial, and leaving space for all your instruments to breathe, that's going to be signs of a good mix. So if you like content like this, please feel free and like and subscribe. Other than that, peace out.